All right, another successful G Day. I just want to point out this shirt. Boom was the dog that was introduced today. You can pick this up from our friends at Red Zone. The link is down below, right to the statistics for the game and everything that happened. Carson Beck. Now these are our numbers. I don't quite know if they're exactly correct, but they're very close. So 15 to 22 for Carson, 231 yards with a touchdown. Gunnar Stockton, 13 of 22 for 144 with a pick. Brock Vandegrift, 13 of 25 for 175, two interceptions and a touchdown. Long run, some drops for Brock, but Carson Beck looked the best. He looked the most in control. I don't know if that's because it felt like he went with the ones the majority of the time, but it seemed to me that Georgia was going into the spring with Carson Beck as their one. It seems to me, judging on today, that they're going to leave with Carson Beck as their one. It felt like that in post-game interviews. It felt like that watching them on the field. It just felt like that. Now, it's certainly possible I'm wrong. It's certainly possible I'm right, though, too. So I feel a little stronger today than I did earlier in the spring because we'd only seen so much. But generally speaking, Carson seemed relaxed today. Carson seemed like the best quarterback to me. Now that's me. I think that the other two guys showed really good stuff, to be honest with you, at times, particularly Vandegrift's ability to escape the pocket that one time with a pretty good run. But they were both productive. I thought Barry Alexander announcing he was going to the transfer portal today was a bad look for him. It makes him look bad. And I think, just generally speaking, when a player has gone to that many high schools, it's a red flag to begin with. We saw this with Jermaine Burton, and I don't have an issue with Jermaine Burton at all. The way Jermaine Burton handled his exit from Georgia was fine to me. But the Bear Alexander to release it, on purpose, 3 hours, I guess it was, before kick? I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, it doesn't show good on him. And I think, when you're 21 or 20, and he's a good player, but that's not a good look. And then all the floodstream of negativity about him comes out. But whatever, no one player makes Georgia's program. And I think that's clear today. I think, they got three good quarterbacks here. I mean, when you look at the production today, it was that's shy of 600 yards, but not by a lot. And I didn't think any of them lit it up in a way. It just looked better under Beck. But with that said, now with Beck, there are certain things you don't get, and in terms of the run game that you do get with the other guys. But that's what it looked like to me. Now, other people can. I mean, I watched it on the field. That's not the same as watching on TV. That's not the same as being in the press box. But on the field is a different perspective than those two things too. So that's what it looked like to me. I think at receiver, it's possible Lovett is going to be their. Well, he might be the shiny new toy. I mean, you still have Ladd McConkey, you have Aaron Smith. I mean, there's a lot of playmakers. I do wonder if at some stage Georgia will sort of have a number one, and their number one is Ladd McConkey, but I mean in a more traditional sense. And if you have someone else that diverts attention from Ladd McConkey can really hurt people then, and it all meshes together. I mean, that's my biggest takeaway from the day were two things. Number one, more than anything, this team looks like it can win the national championship again. That's from my perspective. And post-game stuff matters. You got to know what matters in post-game things. And I thought Kirby saying today that they were excited about where they were at is an important moment in this season. I'd put a pin in that and come back to it. I mean, he should be excited. And the other thing, I love when he goes full Dean Legge. And he said, we have good players. We have good coaches. We should be good. Yeah, you should. And you are. I mean, he knows that. I'm not lecturing Kirby. But it's just this is a really good team. Now there are other really good teams too. Alabama, boy, Florida looked just not good when I watched them play, but they don't matter. I mean, Florida matters when they matter. They don't matter right now. We'll let you know when they do. Um, but it's I just don't know. It just, I have come away from spring games saying this doesn't matter at all. And I think these spring games only matter so much. But this year's, the difference is you got to see it a little bit more. Maybe Brock Vandergriff was more nervous than I mean, he said he was nervous. Maybe that slowed him a little. Or what I mean by that is maybe he's even better than he showed today. Beck, though, seemed confident. He seemed, he did not seem nervous. And it seemed like he was totally comfortable running the offense. These numbers are fine. I mean, when you just step back and look at the numbers, again, I think Brock's numbers are skewed because of the drops, but they were all somewhere around 50-ish%. That's a little low for Beck. With Stockton and Brock, I'm just trying to do the quick math. This looks more like 55-ish% for Stockton and maybe 53% or 52% for Vandergrift, but he had those drops. You would take that percentage because one or two of your passes, or maybe three or four of them, are going to be eaten up by quarterback run where you're successful with that. So I thought Lawson Lucky looked good today. Brock Bowers, yeah. But like guys who we've not really seen a lot from, Lawson popped. I think it's going to be a curious thing to see what happens with Ernest Green and Blasky on the edge there. They've got options. I think the other thing, too, when you're talking about Georgia and what's been built here, and that's why the Barry Alexander thing is just sort of, I mean, obviously it's selfish, and you have to be selfish in today's college football, I guess, or you can develop. And it's a strange thing to see a guy who has that level of ability check out when, over the last 2 years, you've seen three defensive linemen, about to be 2 years, three defensive linemen are going to go in the first round of the draft. Like, why would you leave? So, NIL ain't shit compared to the money you'll make in the league. I mean, the league, NIL is not, people have a misunderstanding of NIL. I'm not going to start talking about that. We're going to talk about something else more, more sane. But it was warmer today. You see me, trying to cool off. I do want to talk about the dog just real quick. Don't turn the channel. So I was there the whole time from when he came out of his kennel in the truck to when he walked onto the field and to I would think that was at least 50 to 60,000 people. Hey, look, that dog was not having the noise. He was not about it. So today was a good start. And, having been around the younger puppies, it took him a second or two, and then he was just frolicking around at the 5-yard line, and he was just ready to party. It is frightening. If you've never, I've been on the field at Georgia for 23 years, and that is Bro's first, time his paws have hit Sanford with people in the crowd. You just don't see that. And the thing is precious. It is a beautiful dog, a beautiful animal. And, but it'll take him some getting used to, just like it takes the guys that are playing getting used to. And, those things are treated like royalty. They left before the half because it was hot. And, taking care of those dogs is a chore. And the Silers really, again, I've talked about them too much for this audience, but I think the sacrifice is significant from them. So I think a lot of people thank them, and they should be thanked. But I think the biggest takeaway today, there were two of them. Number one, Kirby saying, I'm excited about this team, and then we've got good coaches, we've got good players, we should be good. You are good. And then, check. I can confirm these things. And then, it does look like it's Beck's job going into the fall. I wouldn't be so fast to transfer if I were Brock Vandegrift. I wouldn't be so fast to transfer if I were Gunnar Stockton. Why? Why? So your development slows down? I don't know if Carson Beck's going to be the starting quarterback, but it looks like he will. He will have toiled for 4 years, not in the spotlight in any way, or 3, whatever it is. And well, 21, 20, 21, 22, 3 full years playing a little bit, but he's probably playing the best team he can play every single day in practice. Now, is this about getting better, or is this about I want to be the quarterback? Because there's you can get both in other places. There's not just not a lot of other places, and those other places have got other players. Would these guys start at South Carolina? Over Spencer Rattler? No, probably not. Not right now. Not at this point. Why? So you got to, there's so much that you can benefit from being a quarterback at Georgia. There's a lot to that. There's a lot of good in that, and I do think Beck is. I mean, to me, it was relatively clear, but let's see how this goes. I think there's just Vandegrift's ability to run is hard to deny, and what that can do to other teams. So that's a big deal. But let's say the players know. I mean, the players can feel it. The players know it. And that's what I felt like I saw at the end of the post game too. But if you're not the one, why are you leaving? Because you're not the one. Because you play quarterback. I mean, if Beck had been jumped, that makes sense. But the other guys, I don't really see why they would. Is dude at Texas, whose name I've forgotten. That's how much this matters. Is Quinn Ewers going to leave if he's not the one anymore at Texas? I mean, he's going to transfer to a third school. Are we going full JT Daniels? Like at some stage, you gotta punch it in and get it done. There's only 32 jobs in the NFL, and that means there's about 100 quarterbacks in the NFL total if they keep 3 on each roster, which some don't. That's not a lot of spots. And if you're not winning your college job, maybe you should stick around at the college and figure out what's best for you. Now, it does make sense for some guys to transfer if they want to play. But, this all has to be taken in with a grain of salt. I'm getting phone calls. I'm going to let y'all go. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.